Hey everyone, Harris O'Malley from DocNerdLove.com, and before we get started, I want to remind you, I am getting ready to try something really cool, really different with the channel and with the podcast, and to do that, I need your help. In the new year, I'm going to be trying something a little bit different with things. I am getting together with some friends of mine, and we're going to answer your dating questions on here. So if you have a dating question, a relationship problem you need help with, or you just want to have a better love life, then hit me up. Give me a call at 512-522-6513 and leave your question as a voicemail, or you can record it and send it to me at doc@drnerdlove.com with "for YouTube" in the subject header. And with that out of the way, let's talk about exes. This week, we're doing things it's a little bit more off the cuff. Now, as you know, I'd like to plan these out. I've got a schedule. I don't necessarily like to chase the algorithm with the hottest of the hot takes, but you know, life gets in the way, and occasionally a story will break that, as it turns out, I've got a lot to say about, and I've got a lot of thoughts about it, and I want to share them, especially while people are still talking about it. In this case, it's the story of Offset and Cardi B. Now, I'm not gonna lie here, I only vaguely knew who Offset was and that he and Cardi B had a relationship in the first place, because, I'm not really a hip-hop guy. I dug Cardi B on Finesse with Bruno Mars, but, you know, that's really about it. So when their relationship fell apart, it didn't really ping my radar. But this weekend, Offset decided to make an incredibly stupid decision and try to get his ex back. This is something I have a certain amount of sympathy for. Breaking up with somebody is rough, and it's natural to have regrets or to want to try to win your ex back, especially when the two of you have had a kid together. Sometimes we want to get back together with an ex because, frankly, sometimes being single is goddamn terrifying, and especially if you've been in a relationship for a while. Other times, it's because the breakup literally shatters your life. Part of what makes a breakup of a long-term relationship so traumatic is how much of your life has been structured around being part of a couple. You have been sharing your life with someone, and suddenly that life is over, and you have to relearn how to be single again. And then there are times that you just realize you are still in love with your ex, and you're not quite ready to let things go. Maybe you believe that you could fix things, maybe you feel like that you could do things better, maybe you just really want a second chance because now you know how you f***ed up in the first place. Now, the question of whether you should even try to get back with your ex is a loaded one, and a lot of times you really shouldn't. They're your ex for a reason. But there are right ways to get back with your ex, and then there are wrong ways. And then there's what Offset did, which is the most stupid way of trying to get your ex back. And I really want to talk about this because this is something that just keeps happening. Seriously, this is something like the 5th or 6th high-profile version of this behavior I've seen in the span of the last couple years. Folks making these huge over-the-top displays, often in an attempt to get viral, in order to get what they want. We see this all the time with these cutesy prom proposals to high-pressure public marriage proposals to sad boys trying to get their ex back, like this dude who hauled out a piano into the middle of a park and threatened to keep playing until his ex, a girl he dated for 4 months, came back to him. But let's talk about the most recent example. So for those of you who haven't seen the Twitter post or the Instagram videos or all the articles commenting on the Instagram videos and Twitter posts, let's catch up. Offset and Cardi B had been married, they had a child together, they split up not that long ago because, quite frankly, Offset had been openly cheating on Cardi, so much so that it was becoming a meme. Now, she forgave him until she couldn't anymore, and so she finally left him. Now, Offset, like a lot of guys who finally have realized their partner's serious and is not going to put up with their shit anymore, immediately set about to try to win her back. And because we live in a world of parasocial relationships and social media, where there's an almost mandatory need to be accessible to your fans at all times, a lot of this has been going on in public, which is actually part of the problem. You see, Offset had already been working the public to try to encourage Cardi to come back to him, getting friends like T.I. and 50 Cent to record videos on Instagram, asking her to forgive him, they've got a family, they need to get back together for their family. That in and of itself would be problematic, even if it wasn't taking place in public. I mean, how many of you would appreciate it when you broke up with someone and their friends kept coming up and wanting you to know how upset they are and how couldn't you just take them back? But then Over the weekend, Offset decided to plead his case to Cardi in a way that she couldn't ignore. See, Cardi was headlining the Rolling Loud festival. In fact, she's the first woman to do so. This is a huge moment for her career. And so, Offset decided to use it. First, 21 Savage brought Offset on stage to lead the crowd in a chant to tell Cardi to take Offset back. And this is frankly mortifying enough, but Offset decided to take it to the next level. In the middle of her set, again, a historic moment for the festival and a career highlight for Cardi B, her ex rolls out on stage with a bunch of flowers and a cake that spells out "Take Me Back, Cardi." And it's pretty damn clear that this was not some spur-of-the-moment thing. This was planned. It's not like he had to jump the fence and Metal Gear Solid his way past security and he accidentally ended up on stage instead of meeting her in the green room like he'd planned. He got that entire setup through backstage, onto the stage, in front of everybody, and Rolling Loud's official Twitter even told people that, hey, pay attention to the headliner because something viral is gonna go down. So not only has he interrupted one of the biggest moments of her career and made it all about him, he's done so in a way that has now dragged tens of thousands, if not more, strangers into their relationship. This is a prime example of what I call the grand romantic gesture. Trying to prove your love for someone by doing something so over the top and extravagant that they can't help but be moved by it. You are just so clearly in love with them that you're gonna move mountains to prove it. And it's something that we see over and over and over again in pop culture. It's the emotional climax of movies like The Graduate, Crazy Stupid Love, Love Actually, and we're supposed to see it as this sweet romantic gesture and just go, aww. But it isn't. It's not about showing how deeply you care or the intensity of your love. It's about ego, and it's about manipulation, and it's about pressure. It's about having an audience and then using that audience to pressure someone into doing what you want. Because now you have turned this from a private issue between two people into a story with a capital S in front of this huge crowd of strangers. Strangers who have next to no idea about what's been going on, or the dynamic in the relationship, or ultimately why they broke up in the first place. And even if they do know some of the details, because it's not like Cardi and Offset's relationship didn't play out in public, they don't know all of them. They've seen the memes and the Instagram posts, but they weren't privy to any of the conversations, what the two of them did to try to make things work or not work, or any of the that went down that didn't get shared on social media. All they know is that they are seeing something that we've been told is sweet and romantic, and now they have the chance to take part in this huge romance. And suddenly there are dozens, hundreds, or even literally thousands of strangers who are very invested in the outcome of this relationship. And hey, it's not like an army of people suddenly being very concerned with how a woman is treating her ex has ever gone horribly wrong before. So, now he's oh so sorry, he realizes he f***ed up, and now he wants her back, and isn't it sweet that he's so in love that he is going to make these huge gestures, he's gonna move mountains for her. Except, nothing has actually changed. He's not actually sorry. If things were different, if he had worked on whatever it is that made him cheat on Cardi so openly in the first place, resolved to be a better father, went to therapy, talked it out, couples counseling, then hey, he could put the work in, show through his actions that he's a better man, and that he was willing to earn her trust back. But that could take years, and let's be real, he pissed her off pretty thoroughly, so that might never happen. So, instead, here he is. He has taken the choice out of her hands. He is forcing her to answer the question right then and there, with tens of thousands of people watching, and even more weighing in after the fact. We will pause to appreciate the irony of this. Now, it's important to note that this is strictly about leveraging social pressure against women. If Cardi, or any woman really, were to do this, we wouldn't be hearing about how sweet it is for her to be moving these mountains and making this big show of love and how he should take her back. We'd be hearing about how she's a bunny boiler and a stage 5 clinger. It's a dynamic that only works because it relies on not just the narrative that men are broken, by lost love, but that women are expected to be the keepers of the flame, and that men can be this romantic, but women who act like this are crazy. So no matter how romantic this may seem, this is not even vaguely about love. It's about power. By making this gesture in public, he is trying to wield power over her. He is doing it in a way that makes sure that she can't not know that he's doing it. I mean, after all, emails can go unread, calls can go unanswered, and texts can be blocked. But showing up at her job on the most important day of her career? Oh, she is not going to be able to ignore that. And moreover, it's not about his actually being sorry. It's about controlling his ex and controlling the narrative of his relationship. It's a continuation of the same bullshit that broke them up in the first place. He had already humiliated her by cheating so openly, and now he's humiliating her by making her a spectacle and dragging their business in front of everyone again and again and again. And now he wants to be the wounded party. After everybody sees this grand romantic gesture, suddenly Offset or any other guy who pulls this move is the one who's being wronged, despite whatever bullshit that he pulled that led to their breakup in the first place. He's trying so hard, y'all. Only an ice queen wouldn't be moved by this. So now that Offset has made this big gesture, there's this tremendous pressure for Cardi to go along with it because everybody thinks that this means he's sorry and he's changed, and it's important for her to forgive him and take him back. And if she doesn't, well, now there's thousands of really pissed off strangers who are going to see her as the villain because she's refusing to forgive a guy because look how sorry he is and everything's different now. And this puts even more pressure on Cardi, who has already tried to be the bigger person about all of this. She didn't bring up the infidelity when she made her announcement about their divorce. She didn't blame him. She didn't air their business. She just said it wasn't working. They were always going to be co-parents. She would always love him. But hell, even now, she's telling her friends and followers not to drag his ass because she's not allowed to be angry about this. Because, come on, he's so sorry, guys. The only reason why we even think about why this is romantic is the scale. If this were just a guy rolling into his ex's work with flowers and a string quartet while she's trying to, say, negotiate a massive sale that's going to land her the big promotion, then he'd be hit with a restraining order and the building would go on lockdown. No, for real. This actually happened with a friend of mine. A stalker ex followed her to work, and now the office has to spend thousands of dollars upgrading all the security. Which is ultimately the point of all of this. It's not romantic. It's terrifying. It's terrifying when it's just one person doing it. When it's in front of an audience, it's worse. And if you think it's bad when it happens to a celebrity, then imagine when something like that happens to you out of the clear blue sky. Now, I'm not saying that everybody who's ever tried going over the top to impress a woman is being malicious, but it's pretty much impossible to not notice that there is always an element of manipulation involved. Sure, it's supposedly in the name of love, but that doesn't make it better, especially when you're asking someone to make a choice involving you. If you actually care, then this is the worst thing that you can do. If you really want to, say, get back with your ex, then you need to do the work to fix what went wrong in the first place, and then find time to talk with them in private with their permission if they're even willing to talk with you. Or you can always do what I did and just write a really emo post on LiveJournal, friends lock it to make sure that no one's ever going to see it, realize that you friended your ex on LiveJournal, and then delete the entire thing out of embarrassment. Hey, worked for me. Hey, thanks for checking out my latest video. So like I said earlier, going to be on a bi-weekly schedule for a while, both to make things easier with the holiday season and to give a little bit room for the development of this new project that I'm working on. If you've been on the receiving end of a grand romantic gesture, let's hear your story. Share your experience in the comments below. And if you tried to make one, let's hear your story too. How did it go? What did you learn from this? Meanwhile, if you have a dating advice question you'd like answered for NerdLove line or whatever it is I'm going to end up calling it because, let's be real, that's copyright issues, call your questions in 512-522-6513, leave a voicemail, or you can record it on your end and send the audio file to me at doc@drnerdlove.com with for YouTube in the subject header. And it's the holidays, whether you're newly single and you want to get over the sting of a breakup, or you want to get better at dating and find that special someone, or you got that friend who needs a little help, then check out my book, New Game Plus, The Geek's Guide to Love, Sex, and Dating. This is the dating instruction manual that we all wish we'd gotten. It is the A to Z guide to turbocharging your love life. Links to buy it are in the show notes, so go check it out. And if you do check it out, be sure to rate and review it on Amazon and Goodreads. It's a huge help. Meanwhile, if you're digging the series, then come on, you already know what to do. You've been on YouTube for a while. You know how all this works. Hit the thumbs up. Share it with all your friends. If you are really enjoying these videos, and I mean really enjoying them, if you're finding like they're getting a lot out of them and it's really helping, then you want to support the channel, especially with the new programming ideas that we're working on, then consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/DrNerdLove. Even $1 is a huge help, and at $3 a month or more, you get access to some incredible bonus content. Meanwhile, follow me on Twitter at @DrNerdLove. Keep up with the latest news by joining the Facebook page at facebook.com/DrNerdLove. And as always, hit the logo to subscribe, check out my latest videos, and I will see you here next time with more about love, sex, and dating. Later.